Hey, what is up, National Youth Conference? Hey, Tyler Feller here once again. Today we are outside of Nashville, Tennessee, right outside of the airport at Dunkin Donuts, and I am here with DJ Vow. And man, we're so excited to have you with us again this year at NYC.
Man, it's a pleasure. I'm excited to come back.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really fun.
What's your favorite memory last year from NYC?
You know, there's a certain energy that NYC has. National Youth Conference. To be honest, I had no idea what I was stepping into. I had met some of the staff, and obviously I thought they were amazing people. But I tell you what, once I landed in St. Louis and drove down, I was like, where am I going?
I drove through a bunch of cornfields.
I was like, am I lost? But no, get in there. Just night one, it's just pure energy. It's a different kind of energy. A lot of conferences carry a certain culture to them. I think National Youth Conference kind of has its own culture as far as separate from like the normal stuff, and by that I mean just the energy is just off the wall, just off the wall, and the students are very well mannered. I mean, very well behaved. So they listen when they're supposed to listen, and when they say, hey, let's have a party, it just goes absolutely crazy.
They listen to having a party.
So yeah, I mean, definitely enjoyed my time there. I'm really looking forward to coming back this year. So,
well, awesome, man. And like I said, we are just thrilled to have you back. I know that you and I have kind of communicated over the past couple of months and different things, but for some of our folks who maybe don't know what you've been up to, man, what have you been up to?
Well, since last summer, I mean, obviously last summer was just one God thing after another. GBNYC, National Youth Conference, to me was totally a God thing. But it just, one thing, I mean, after another. Still on the road, did a few tours with Tadashi last year, and also been involved with a lot of the Lecrae's events. I just got off a bus this morning, did an event last night in Michigan with Lecrae, did an opener last night for Lecrae, and then the night before we were in Indiana. So it's just kind of breathtaking, and a lot of times I feel like, man, God, you're amazing. Like this is totally a God grace thing. Lecrae obviously won the Grammy, featured on Jimmy Fallon's show, and then the Anomaly tour has just been off the wall and amazing. Every city's been selling out, and then here I am, just little old me from Texas, you know, just filling in and having a blast, really. And then on top of that, still being able to do time at home with the family, still doing a lot of student events. This summer I'll be doing a lot of youth camps, student conferences. That whole atmosphere is still there for me, so I get to do a little bit of both worlds, which is the hip-hop world, and then my one-offs, which is what you saw at National Youth Conference. And it's just been fun, and yet I still get to be at church on Sundays and, you know, serve with students and serve my family first and serve my church. So yeah, it's definitely been a growing process. Gosh, I can't believe it's gonna be a year already since last summer. So definitely growing, definitely moving, and yeah, I'm excited to come back this summer.
Yeah, dude, and it does. Time does go by very, very quickly. And last year, our theme at National Youth Conference was this idea of having your DNA wrapped up in Christ. And this year, our theme is Get Anchored. And we just believe that this is going to be a year where students are going to be able to take their next steps in their faith by getting anchored. And one of my favorite things about that, you and I often talk about, is, you know, we'll take a perspective of what are other pastors in the country doing right now to stay anchored. And maybe you can speak to that a little bit in your personal life. What do you do to stay anchored?
My personal life is, there's obviously been a foundation laid for me. I spent a lot of days, a lot of nights under leadership, a lot of discipleship programs, everything from premarital counseling to counseling afterwards, just to grow and get rooted, you know, get a foundation laid for me. So I had the foundation laid for me first. And since then, I have had two things that always keep me in line in my life with traveling. Sometimes it can get a little hectic. But the two main things that always keep me in line and grounded would be first serving, which can be, you know, serving at your church, not necessarily being on a pulpit, not necessarily being on the turntables as it would for me. But that's everything from stacking chairs to saying, hey, I'm available, I'm willing. This is my house. This is my church. This is where I serve. The second thing would be giving. We're all called to give.
Right.
And that's not just resources. That's, I mean, you name it.
Time,
energy,
talent.
You name it, talent, creative, whatever it is that God has put in your heart. Those two things always keep me humble and keep me focused on what I'm doing. So, you know, a lot of times people get a snapshot of what I'm doing. So, they see, 10,000 people at, whatever stadium, or, so-and-so, he's on his bus or whatever. But really, what should be a lot of times honored through people is like, what did you do before that?
Yeah.
Where were you at last night? Were you at
student service?
Right.
What are you doing?
Who are you investing in? Or where's your time going? Where's your resources going?
It's cool that you mentioned that because earlier when we were talking about what's it going to look like this year, one of the things you talked about is you've kind of had somebody mentor you and people take you along and show them the ropes, and you still have that in your life, obviously pastors and different things, but you have somebody that you're doing that with, and I think you're going to bring them along with you this year.
There's it's just another God thing, really. There was a student one time who contacted me about shooting a music video for him. So I set this video shoot. He shows up to the location, drove about an hour and a half to get there. And when I'm filming, I asked the guy, I was like, how old are you? Because he looked really young to me. And he said, well, I'm 17. And I was like, wait a minute. Aren't you supposed to be in school right now? And he just said, well, I talked to my dad. My dad said it was fine. So I was like, okay, this guy honors his parents. And really just from there, it was just a God connection, really. I noticed he had a lot of passion behind what he did. He just kind of needed someone to steer him a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you do music, at least when you do urban music, you tend to be a misfit. You can find a lot of worship leaders, a lot of guitarists. When you're doing urban ministry, it's still kind of a misfit thing.
Yeah.
So I got to talk to him, met his parents, loved his parents. His dad's an elder at the church, and just amazing family. And really, God just put it in my heart as well as my wife's heart, which we both knew, like, okay, this is the guy we need to pour into. So I took him on a few runs last summer, and everything just fell into place. He's currently part of an internship at his church, so he's basically serving his pastor, doing mission trips. He just came back from New York City, serving homeless. I mean, you name it. This is his time right now where he's getting a foundation built. He graduates from the program, I think in May or June, and then he's hitting the road with me this summer. All I can say, he's an amazing, talented, gifted young man, and hopefully you guys get to hear some of that.
Yeah, man.
National Youth Conference.
And we're excited that he's coming. It's always a thrill for us to get to be involved with somebody that feels like they're new to the thing or kind of jumping out and doing something with that. Man, we just love your heart of being, investing in him, being given. I was telling you about the thing that we started for student pastors called the Locker Room, and we believe this is something that can help equip and resource student pastors and leaders right where they're at to make maximum impact in their community. And so kind of you talking about the energy that you felt at NYC is maybe different or abnormal than that of other places. And we have a lot of reason to thank our leaders and pastors for that.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
For us, though, it kind of the community of pastors and youth groups that we have coming, sometimes they're underfunded. A lot of the student pastors there do it for completely free. And so I know that you have offered to kind of help us with the locker room in some ways.
Absolutely. I have a background in working for churches. So I come from being on staff. Worked for a few different churches. I mean, you name it. I did everything from cleaning toilets to making a Sunday experience for Easter. I mean, I was just the guy doing all that. But within that season, I learned a lot. At the pace that we moved for the churches that I worked for. I mean, cranking out 5 videos in 1 week wasn't unusual, and the budgets were always like, well, this is what we have. Well, okay, well, let's take that and let's see what we can do with it. So you totally learn how to be creative.
So
with
you're
kind
of used to that whole.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes people have a certain perception of what a church funds look like, but you don't know until you're actually part of the team. So, with that being said, man, I believe strongly in sharing a lot of the stuff. there's so many videos that I've made. I put up all my, mixes that I record live. I put them up for free downloads. I've had churches contact me from all over the world. I've had people tell me, man, thank you for putting that out for free. We used it for our pre-service. We used it for our student service. We used it for our dodgeball. I mean, you name it, like just random stuff. And I'm like, wow, I never thought that a resource that's, to me, it seemed like a small thing could go that far. But I mean, if you go to my website, I put a lot of stuff. Everything that's on there is for free. But I really plan on packaging more of the stuff along with maybe some videos. You and I, we talked about it. And just putting them up for the National Youth Conference and for this website, just for all the leaders to have and really use throughout the year. Maybe there's stuff they can add to it, or maybe you can get some suggestions of maybe we need a countdown. We really wanted a custom countdown, or whatever that may look like. I don't know, but possibilities are endless. I'm definitely willing to share and put stuff out there as much as I can, because I know I've had leaders that done the same thing with me. Really skyrocketed in level, took it to the next level what I was doing. So yeah, man.
Well, dude, that's awesome. So hey, be sure to check out the locker room on our page, and we'll have some of either some links or some files that you can go and grab, along with a lot of other resources that other pastors and leaders have put into our hands so we can put on the site. I want to put you on the spot, all right?
Let's do it.
Since we are in Nashville, I need to know your top 3 favorite country songs of all time.
Country songs.
And they're all by Taylor Swift. No.
I don't know if I can name songs. I can name artists, maybe.
Yeah, the top 3 artists, and let's go there.
Would they be considered country?
Taylor Swift?
No.
Taylor.
Is Johnny Cash considered country?
Yeah.
I like some Johnny Cash.
I like Johnny. Yeah, Johnny Cash. He's a big deal.
What's this guy's name? I'm sorry, I live in Dallas.
Okay. New question. Clearly, country's not his favorite genre. Makes sense, right?
I'm working on it.
You're working on
it.
I'm trying to get him acclimated, all right? Okay. Top 3 hip-hop artists we don't know about, but we should.
Well, definitely the guy I'm mentoring would be one. His name's Jet Trouble. Number 2 is a group out of Miami called Social Club.
Oh, I love Social Club.
Social Club, definitely Grace guys, definitely doing it independently, which is amazing. Nationally traveling right now. Third person would be, let me see, that you don't know. He's obviously on a bigger platform. There's a guy named KB who has an amazing album coming out. I mean, amazing album. Based out of Tampa, Florida. So obviously Florida's a strong state in that.
For that genre. Cool. So there you guys go. A little, some few people you guys can look up and start to use maybe some of their stuff that you find on there. Okay, now we went from 3, got to go to 2. 2 reasons why people need to be at GBNYC National Youth Conference this year.
2 reasons. Reason number 1, National Youth Conference. Their after parties are basically off the wall. You might catch Tyler crowd surfing. Reason number 2 is your cell phone might not work, so you definitely don't have an excuse but to get into God's Word. That's reason number 2.
I like that. That's a good reason. So now we are down to 1. What is your number 1 most favorite thing about getting to be on a stage?
The fact, I guess the number 1 reason, I guess favorite thing would be that it doesn't matter. When you get on a stage, it's like the platform is yours, right? So all of a sudden it's like people are open to like, what are you going to show us? What are you going to tell us? What are you going to do? There's like a really high in my heart. It's like, man, I have to take this seriously. But the second thing is, the main thing would be is people are just open, like they're expecting something, and it's not a like they're expecting you to fail type thing. It's like, man, what have you been up to? Like, what have you created that's new? And there's like a appreciation for the art. Obviously, if I was invited to a stage, there's appreciation for the art, and with that, it's like, man, like I love Jesus, and my art is reflecting that. And so a lot of times I get on a stage and half of the crowd is off the wall students or off the wall young adults, don't know anything about anything, but all of a sudden there's a connection there.
Yeah.
And I tend to connect the church culture with whatever culture I'm at. So it's like a bridge.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it sets it up for whoever's ministering at night, or whatever's going on. And if there's no guest speaker, then I get to share my heart. And there's been so many stories. I get off the stage and I've had a student tell me one time, I've been here all week and I have not understood anything that's gone on until you went up. He's like, finally it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, because you're a lot like me.
Yeah.
And I get it now. That right there is like what I live for. I mean, it's for God to take someone like me from Texas, put them on a stage in Illinois, and all of a sudden it's like God is using me. That's boom, like a mind-blowing thing to me. But yeah, I don't know if that's it too much, but that would be the favorite thing. Yeah.
It's so cool how God always uses the most unlikely of characters to do the most extraordinary things. And I know it's something I felt in my own life, and like I said, man, let me know what I do. Sell a car, sell a kidney. I want to put the franchise tag on you. Lifetime contract. No, I've been talking to him about just how excited we are that he's going to be at NYC this year, 2015, June 19th through the 21st, Carlinville, Illinois, where we're going to learn what it means to get anchored. And so you do not want to miss it. In fact, our spots are already almost filled up, and so you need to get on there right now. You need to be bugging your youth pastor to submit your guys' forms. That way you guys can ensure that you have a spot. But we are so excited, and we cannot wait to see you. I'm gonna give you the last word, dude. You got 30 seconds. Last word.
National Youth Conference students and leaders, don't come alone. Bring somebody. We're gonna have a good time.
It's gonna be wild.
We're gonna get serious, but we're also gonna have a good time. And it's all for what? For Jesus. Get anchored, and we're gonna do it. National Youth Conference. I'll see you guys this summer.